Today we have a yoga practice that is our hips and our hamstrings. So I want you to find a comfortable seated position, sitting up nice and tall. And if you feel comfortable, go ahead and close your eyes and just start rolling your shoulders down and up, just kind of relaxing them and then finding some stillness here. Now palms can be down if you need some more grounding. Palms can be facing the sky if you want a little bit more energy this morning. So taking a nice deep breath in through the nose, open mouth, exhale out through the mouth. And then on your exhale, drop that left ear towards the left shoulder. And then taking that right ear towards the right shoulder. Bowing the chin towards the chest. And then coming onto all fours. We're going to start with a little cat-cow movement today. So go ahead and go to that cat back, coming back into child's pose, up into cow, and lifting back to cat. So as you see here today, I'm demonstrating that cat-cow movement, and I'm going on my breath. So if you're breathing a little bit slower, go ahead and slow that pace down. So you're just going to sink back into that child's pose. Go ahead and do that twice, and then we'll stay in child's pose. We'll rise to all fours. And we're pushing back into our first down dog of the day. Go ahead and pedal those feet out and relaxing in those legs, taking that right leg high to the sky, stepping it through the hands, coming down onto that back knee, coming into a little runner's lunge. Bring both hands on the inside of that foot, feeling that stretch, walking those hands back, and now we're going to stretch out the back of our leg or those hamstrings. Walking it back forwards, feeling that stretch, holding it here, breath, and walking it back on the exhale. Just finding some movement, bringing some movement into our day. Going forward into that runner's lunge, and then coming back into that hurdler stretch. Taking a nice deep breath here. Reaching towards that toe if it's accessible. Trying to sit evenly in the hips. And then coming back up into that runner's lunge and holding it here for a few breaths. If you feel comfortable, you can come down to those forearms. Otherwise, you can always stay up on those hands. We're going to sink a little bit deeper into this pose, and it's okay if you let that knee fall open and your heel does not have to be all the way on the ground. And when you're ready, pushing back up onto those hands, stepping it back into that down dog, pedaling out those heels. Lifting the left leg high to the sky, placing that left foot between the hands, bending that back knee down, coming into our runner's lunge, into that hurdler stretch movement here. So just taking a breath on each, and feel free to mirror me or take your time. So you might only do a couple of these. Find what feels good in your body. So you're just going to either go on your breath, or you're going to hold each for a little bit longer. Taking a nice deep breath, and then on that exhale, we're coming back to that hurdler stretch and holding it here. And again, reaching towards that toe, that shin, wherever that arm can reach. And it's okay if the two sides do not look the same. Each side of the body is slightly different. We're going to come back into that runner's lunge, placing those hands on the inside of the feet, and then coming down to those forearms if it's accessible. And relaxing into here, and you can roll out onto the outer edge of that foot. And breathing into any of the tension. Releasing things that are no longer serving you. Coming back onto those hands, curling those toes under, stepping it back to a down dog. Pedaling those feet out, and it's okay to have your knees bent. Your heels do not have to touch the ground. Go ahead and step those feet behind the hands, forward fold, halfway lift, forward fold, and then rising up to stand. Bringing those hands through heart center. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to cross our right leg over our left leg. Hands can rise up to the sky. Slowly forward fold down, and then we're going to hold here. So we're really stretching out those back of the legs, getting into those hamstrings, getting into those hips. So crossing those legs hits that hamstring at a little different angle. Relaxing the neck and the shoulders. Breathing here. Just letting everything hang. And then rising all the way up to stand. Arms up overhead. Go ahead and take that left leg in front. and forward fold back down. So that same thing, only again it might feel a little different on the other side. Letting that head hang down, the arms hang. Still actively engaging in the legs. Feeling a nice stretch. And then exhale all the way up, arms coming up overhead and coming facing the front of your mat, forward fold. Halfway lift, forward fold, placing those hands down, stepping it back to a high plank. Chaturanga all the way, hovering over your mat, coming into an up dog, flipping those toes under, pushing it back into a down dog. Again, pedaling those feet out if it feels nice. Taking that right leg high to the sky, bringing that right leg up into pigeon pose. So before you fold down, sitting up nice and tall, evening those hips out, taking a breath here, and then coming down to those forearms. Staying here if this is where it feels comfortable, or you can walk those hands all the way out in front of your body and really fold over. But again, listening to your body. Does it want to stay here? Does it want to go a little deeper? Or does it want to come back out of it? Taking a few breaths, breathing into that hip, releasing that tension, letting that head hang down. Relaxing into that side body. Coming back up onto those hands. And then go ahead and put a bend left foot. We're going to come into King Pigeon. You should feel a stretch on that left quad. And a little chest opener as well. And if this feels any discomfort on the knee, you can go ahead and pretend to reach towards the foot. You don't have to actually grab it, but just bending that foot towards the glutes and reaching towards it until you can fully express this pose. Go ahead and release that, coming back to center, curl the toes under, stepping it back to a down dog. Pedaling it out here, taking that left leg high to the sky, bringing that left knee behind the left wrist. Bringing that foot across and then coming all the way down on the forearms when you're ready. Holding it here, walking those hands out even farther. And when you're in this pose, trying to play with it. So maybe each time you come into it, you feel a little different spot of the hip being stretched. You can adjust that by adjusting where that foot is placed. Now the only issue is if it feels bad on the knee, and come out of it and adjust where you're at. It should not feel any tension or any issues on that left knee. Releasing and relaxing here, coming up to those hands, putting a bend into that back knee, King Pigeon on the other side. Again, feeling a nice little chest opener. And if you need to, you can always put a blanket underneath that knee if it feels a little bit more comfortable. Holding it here, another breath or two. And then releasing that foot. Curling the toes under, stepping it back to a down dog, pedaling out those heels. Holding that down dog. And then we're going to come onto our knees, sitting down on your bottom now. The legs are going to be straight. Take that right leg over the left, just as we did standing, only we're going to do it seated. Arms above your head, and then slowly forward fold. You might see this is a little bit harder, because sometimes being seated is a little bit harder because we don't have that gravity helping us go a little deeper into the pose. So going to where your comfort is and breathing into any of the discomfort. Heart is lifted, so we're not rounding through the spine. You're trying to keep that back nice and lifted. Shoulders are down. Taking a nice deep breath here. And then rising those arms up overhead. Take that left leg on top of the right, and then forward fold on here. Same thing, relaxing and releasing into the pose. Which with each exhale, trying to go a little bit deeper. Holding it here. And then on your exhale, taking those arms back overhead, unwind the feet, and then coming to the back of the mat, you're going to take it into cow face pose. So take that left leg, place it on the bottom, take that right knee over the top, trying to align our knees. Now, if they don't quite go, as you can see, mine aren't quite going together, that is okay. So you're finding where you can feel the discomfort, but it's not painful. Trying to keep both sits bones sitting down on the mat. So breathing here. Remembering to smile. That's my cue to myself. And then exhale, releasing that, and go ahead and take that right leg underneath, left leg on top, trying to align the knees if it is accessible. And then taking a few breaths here. Again, trying to get those sits bones so they're evenly sitting on the ground. We're sitting up, nice tall spine. Eyes can be closed or open. Taking a few more breaths. And go ahead and release that. Coming to the top of the mat, hands straight out, slowly roll it down one vertebrae at a time so you're laying down on your mat, had the last to go. And we're going to finish in our final Shavasana, so go ahead and take those legs and arms straight out to the sides, palms up to the sky. And I'm just going to leave you here, and I will let you know when it's time to come out. And take those palms up, stopping at third eye, palms together. This is where I will leave you. Namaste. Or if you want, you can stay here and lay in Shavasana just a little bit longer.